Alright, what's up everybody? Today let's take a close look at this clone of an MXR Distortion Plus that I have put together. The kit came from General Guitar Gadgets. I've made a few modifications. So at this point it's not actually a Distortion Plus, but it's my style to use a photograph of the original pedal as my artwork so that it's a clone. Okay, so you'll see, pretty basic here. This is not the switch that came with the kit. I get these switches from Love My Switches. And yeah, there's just one pedal that I built, I think it was my Phase 90, where I melted the switch. And so I had to order a new switch anyway, and I saw these. Now that I have these in a couple of my pedals, I wish I had them in all of my pedals. It's something about the way that it clicks is just kind of softer, which is probably why they call these soft click pedal switches.
Alright, so I'm following the instructions from the kit. I start with the resistors, and I check the value with my multimeter and confirm that with the schematic and wiring diagram as I place it in the board. I bend the leads or use some glue tack to hold in place, and then solder and trim. And the same for the diodes, sockets, and capacitors, and make sure to double check the orientation of anything that's polarized, like the electrolytic capacitors or the LEDs. By the way, I've already finished the artwork on the box, so it's all dry and ready to go. Then you've got to add the wires and tin all the leads, and here I'm adding some jumpers to the switch before I put that in the box so it's easier to manage. And then you just start wiring it in the box. Try to keep those wires short and tidy, and it should work right away.
This pedal didn't work when I first built it. Anything coming out? It was really my first journey into debugging. Alright, so I found something here using my audio probe. The signal coming in, it's going to pass through C2 right here. As you can hear, it really quiets down a lot. So it's questionable how much that was quieting it down. And this is really the route that it goes. It goes from here right down to R5. It's kind of biasing it on its way to this inverting pin. You hear how quiet that is compared to this.
Chip, I'm gonna come at you like a spider monkey.
Alright, well, I pretty much figured it out. Actually, what we have right here is called R4 on the wiring diagram. It says it on the PCB too. It says 4 and R6. And the diagram says that R6 is 1M and R4 is 4K7. But on the schematic, this resistor right here that's in line with C4, and it goes straight to the gain pot that's down there, this green cable, that's not R4, that's R6. And yeah, so likewise R6 is actually R4. So what happened is I had I was sitting on a 1M resistor right here between C4 and the gain pot. And over here, this R4, which is just goes to ground, was only 4.7. So everything was just vanishing right there. And so I saw that with the audio probe. So I come in, and it was good signal on the first cap going into the signal, and it would just instantly get really quiet right here. And it was getting to the IC, but barely really coming out. Anyway, all of that said, pedal works great now, and I've been experimenting with different diode combinations. Now, the way that the circuit is designed, the signal comes in over here, goes along, and then it moves into the IC right here on pin 3, does some business and comes out over here, and then does some business and leaves. So it's sort of a left to right kind of situation. So what you have is a signal coming in here, gets a little bit of an input capacitor type thing and some biasing resistors to send into the IC. And then here's this feedback loop area that might be referred to as soft clipping, where you'd get kind of the overdrive clipping. So right now you see I have this one, and that's what has been in here during all of the demos that you're going to hear right now, or that you're hearing right now. So this odd configuration of just one in the soft clipping area, I decided to leave it there for now. Over here in what's called the hard clipping area, which is after the op amp and just on its way to the output, this is where the hard clipping is happening. And I have arranged them pretty strangely. Yeah, so you see these are all 1N270s. I have these two in parallel, and then this thing is actually just a jumper, and then this other little, I think that's a 1N9148. I changed the values here on the way to the gain pot, and I think I'm still going to change the gain pot to 100K C as recommended on the Stompbox forum by Mark Hammer. So this is now a 3K3, this is a 0.1 instead of a 0.047. So basically doubled that capacitor and lowered this from 47K to 3K3. This is a 100K, 100K instead of 1M. And also I've changed this output as a 22N, 0.022. Mark Hammer suggested like a 33N, which I just didn't have, but this was a 1N, so I still doubled it. And honestly, the tone coming out is kind of darker than I would have liked. Alright, so yeah, I've got it together and I've modified a few components, I've upgraded the switch, and I've experimented with a lot of different diode combinations. I'm going to do more. I'm going to try out different things there still. But yeah, anyway, here it is. And let's take a listen.
turn up the teeth one more time. Yeah, that was unbelievably loud. But I didn't peak the mic because I turned it real low. Anyway, that pedal kicks a lot of ass.